Hey guys, I wanted to do a sort of a build update, build review on what I'm doing in Path of Exile 2. And I haven't done many of these lately because I've been playing mostly meta builds and just they were extensively covered by other streamers and content creators, and I just didn't feel I had anything to add to, and it was like a waste of time for both you and me to make any kind of video and do anything. And sadly I'm also playing a meta build right now, so there's nothing new here, your basic lightning arrow, lightning rod build. But I wanted to talk about some of the changes to defenses in this patch, and how I actually built my character. And to do that, first I'm gonna talk a little bit about the basis of the new defense changes, and then I'm going to jump into a map and show you in real time like how it plays out. I made a little cheat sheet to not make this video too long, so I'm gonna just go over it. Basically, evasion changed. You can now evade almost everything. That includes ground effects. Only thing that's not evadable are the red glowing telegraphed attacks that are usually only on bosses. There are some attacks on mobs, you can sometimes notice them while mapping, but very few mobs have those attacks, and they are very long-winded. They are usually channeled attacks. You have at least 1, 2, 3, sometimes even more seconds to avoid it. It's like basically that hammer of the god stuff that you can see on some monsters, and some telegraphed meteor attacks and stuff like that. Everything else is avoidable now. It's basically they baked in acrobatics. If you played any acrobatics build, they baked it into evasion, and now it works like that. They added a new mechanic called deflection, which is great. Like, it's basically a spell suppression, but it works for everything, including attacks, on that effects, secondary damage. It works on everything. But you need to be careful about deflection. Like, most of the deflection nodes are not very efficient. I'm gonna show you some. Like these nodes right here, like just 6% deflection, 10% deflection rating. These are trash. Like, you basically only take deflection nodes if they end up with a good notable. Like, this is not super efficient, but it gives +6 damage, which is great. This also gives evasion rating and +3% damage deflected, which is really great. And this is actually the best cluster right here, because it gives a ton of evasion while moving, which is pretty much always. And it gives very good values of deflection to evasion rating. So basically these are the only 3 clusters I would recommend. The rest you need to take on gear, and you really don't need to take ton of it. Like, you need at least 2 pieces of gear with at least 30% deflection to evasion rating, coupled with the nodes I mentioned. Maybe if you have like another roll on the chest, on the boots, but I didn't just bother. If you had that, then maybe I can drop like one of these clusters, save some points and stuff like that. But this is basically it. I'm gonna show you my path of building, because my in-game has lots of conditionals. For example, are you always moving? Have you hit an enemy recently? From here, like, my tree looks a bit weird, but trust me, these are the most efficient nodes that you can get. I tested it. These nodes here are better than taking these nodes here. It's like 1 point saved, and the pathing is really weird. And I use my weapon swap points to utilize this, because while I'm mapping, I'm only using my lightning arrow, very rarely shooting lightning rods. So I have my lightning arrow and weapon set 1, and then I take the deflection nodes here and movement speed nodes, like here and here. And on my weapon set 2, I have lightning rod, and I take shock effect nodes and pure damage nodes, basically the most efficient damage nodes you can get. So while you're mapping, you have defense and movement speed. While you're doing bosses, you have damage. And don't worry, like, if you're playing a meta build like this, you have all the damage in the world. I did all my Atlas points solo, and I killed like both Zesht 4 and Olro T4 Miraculums like very easily. Like, you have plenty of damage. Did entirety of my Atlas. I didn't bother with ritual because it was bugged and I don't like doing it. So that's it. Also, being a Deadeye, that's obviously massive. Like, people look at the Deadeye as a purely offensive class because of +1 projectile and the tailwind, which gives movement speed and skill speed, but it also gives a lot of defense. And if you're not a Deadeye, your results might vary. You might not get 31,000 evasion rating, 85% chance to evade. So you might need to invest a bit more in your defense. You can still get one shot, but I played builds that had like more than 8,000 HP, ES or whatever last patches. I think my highest build was 12,000 energy shield or something like that, and I still got one shot. There are certain things in this game that are completely overpowered, and one shots can still happen, but this is very rare. I leveled to 94 just a couple of maps ago, and I never leveled to 94 as easy as they did in this patch. Like, the way they changed the evasion is now you don't need a ton of investment. Like, before you needed to like put 100 divines into your gear before you could attempt doing the maps that I'm farming right now, and you would still get killed all the time. I actually couldn't level past like 92 with a build that wasn't a ES build on prior patch, because that's how bad it was. And I know that they since nerfed some monsters and stuff like that, but this is the first time that I've even attempted to just get a 2k HP build and go into juice mapping, like, and actually to level with it, it's actually amazing. The other thing, scaling past like 85%, like 80 to 85% is a sweet spot, becomes unreasonable. So let's say I took like these nodes and added like 120% more evasion to my build, my evade chance goes to 87%, even though I gained 5,000 evasion, which is like 1/6 of my total evasion rating. So you only gain 2% evade chance for 15% evasion. That's very unreasonable. So basically this is the sweet spot where you stop investing. Like, getting any more on gear or on tree is a waste of points. Like, you won't see any difference. It's better to like scale some blind effect if it's sufficient. Like here I have some blind chance on hit on my tree and some on my skills, like I have some on my tornado shot, basically blind with some blind effect. This is only used on bosses, you don't use this on mapping, this is one button mapping build. But basically that's it. Scaling past 85% evade chance becomes unreasonable. And therefore super high investment. Still want to go to ES evasion because of that soft cap I mentioned. Like, once you invest into your gear further than that, it's better to just scale raw HP. That means either life and ES, and because scaling life is almost impossible in this game, you scale ES. But for medium and lower budget builds, pure evasion deflect is really good now. And let's just go into a map and demonstrate that. Pick some good one. There's a good one here. Yeah, that's basically it. You don't need to like put dozens of divines into your build to do juice mapping anymore. You can do it by just focusing on evasion and deflection, and you can just go have fun mapping. Obviously you still like want to avoid and dodge and stuff like that, because you have conditional buffs that require you to not get hit recently, for example, like wind dancer stacks, and you want to build your evasion with tailwind by constantly attacking. But you don't need to like worry that you'll just get randomly one shot but some monster attacks on the map. Like, every time I died doing something on this build is I could recognize where was the mistakes and how I could have avoided it. And it actually feels pretty amazing. Gonna stop attacking, let some monsters hit me, like to showcase you like that you don't really get hit even that much. Like, this is the first time that I got hit and I let them attack me for 3 seconds. And basically that never happens. Like, there's never a window of 3 seconds where monsters are wailing on you if you're doing any kind of build that does any kind of reasonable damage and has good AoE. And there's plenty of builds that can do that. Like, spear builds are still good, crossbow builds are good, bow builds are good, ice shot and lightning arrow. I saw that there is like 3 or 4 viable spell builds on this patch. So if you're doing a build, you're like clearing the screen in like 2 to 3 seconds, and that's all the time you need. Like if you have 80% chance to evade, it will give you those 3 seconds of leeway, and by the time you get hit, the screen will be cleared of the monsters. Like this is the showcase of the single target of the build, but once you invested in your gear, basically every build in this game can one-shot bosses. And see, that was the unavoidable attack. You see his hands glow red before he attacked. That's an example of one of those things that can be avoided. But as you can see, you can pretty much avoid all of his other attacks. Normal monsters really don't have stuff that can like actually hit you. Like this monster, I guess you're just pretty much immune to this monster's damage. I don't know what he's doing. He's shooting some kind of projectile. But normal monster attacks are basically just your regular attacks. Like they don't really have that much glowing stuff going on. There are some monsters that I noticed, but most of those attacks are very long-winded. Like they have an effect where they need to like charge something for like 2 or 3 seconds even before they actually hit you. So you don't really need to worry about those unavoidable attacks while mapping. But I guess if something is gonna kill you in the end, it will be that. So you might wanna pay attention a bit to that. Like let's see if this rogue exile has stuff that can hit me. He's doing some firestorms, and I'm pretty much avoiding all of his damage. There's something red here, so I'm gonna move out of my way for that. And as you can see, you can like pretty comfortably like stand around this rogue exile, not worry about getting hit by stuff. And yeah, the main thing that is actually very scary or for a build like this is expedition. Why? Because for some reason they refuse to make these defense removing things on the expedition have some bright color. Like they will make immunities have a yellow color, but for example there's a mod that can spawn on this where it says monster hits cannot be evaded, and this is bad because if you're playing an evasion and deflection build, it means you cannot evade and you cannot deflect. Because deflection also works based on accuracy, and if monster always hits, that means you basically cannot deflect its attack. So be careful when doing expedition, because you can press on a remnant that can strip entirety of your defense, and then you're playing a build that has no defense. Otherwise, expedition is super easy, because the monsters are very slow, their attacks are like slow moving, predictable, and you can pretty much always reliably just run around in a circle and avoid most of that stuff. You do get hit, like I said, you do get hit occasionally, but I said your deflection kicks in, your windward kicks in, and you take only a fraction of the damage, and you can actually tank it and not worry about it. Basically almost done the whole map. Let's finish it. But as you can see, mapping is very comfortable with these new defenses, like low investment mapping, where you don't have perfect ES gear, you don't have attributes on the gear to wear intelligence gear and stuff like that. Is very comfortable now. You can like start doing juice mapping with only a couple of divines invested. You don't need like a perfect build before you can attempt this map anymore. You can even evade ground effects right now, which is amazing. Like those things on the ground, sometimes you get swarmed when you're doing corrupted maps and monsters spawn all around you. You're doing breaches, monsters spawn all around you, and you get forced to walk into some of these ground effects. But you don't need to worry, because you can evade them. As you can see, like you can just walk through them, you can evade them. And that was honestly an amazing change. And I wish they don't nerf this for the next patch, because it's way to make low budget and medium investment builds viable for the patch, and not everybody needs to go ES anymore. because just having every build that does endgame juicing be an ES build was so boring, and I'm honestly super excited that this actually works right now. So yeah, that's basically it, and thank you for watching. If I have anything new and interesting, you'll see another video from me. If not, I hope you enjoyed this league. It's been really good, and talk to you later.